Your presence here is ruining the atmosphere. Could you leave? His words sliced through the air with a cold precision that stung more than I cared to admit. He wasn't just anyone, he was my father-in-law, technically, but his disdain made me feel like an unwelcome stranger at my own sister's wedding. I had traveled hours to be here, eager to celebrate Summer's big day, only to learn I wasn't truly invited. The groom's family had made that painfully clear. What are you waiting for? His voice dripped with malice, drawing the attention of nearby guests. Go on, leave, someone like you doesn't belong here. The shame burned, but I refused to let him see it, swallowing the lump in my throat. I nodded. Fine, I'll go. My voice wavered, betraying my composure. With one last glance at the celebration, I stepped outside, feeling the weight of eyes on my back. The cool air outside did little to calm me. I pulled out my phone and dialed my husband. Lisa? Max answered immediately, his voice tight with concern. What's going on? Why are you calling me from outside the wedding? I was told to leave. I kept my voice steady, though my hands trembled. By your father. Silence hung on the line for a moment before he muttered darkly, I'll handle this. Through the window, I caught a glimpse of the groom's relatives laughing, their faces smug. This wasn't just a family rift, it was an outright war, and I was their target. Let me start again. My name is Lisa, I'm 32 years old, married to Max, who's 11 years my senior. My world is small, just him and my younger sister, Summer. Our father abandoned us when I was 10, leaving my mother to work tirelessly to keep us afloat. Summer was just a baby then, so I stepped into the role of caregiver while mom took on double shifts. We scraped by until I graduated high school, but the years of strain wore my mother down. She passed away when I was barely an adult, leaving Summer and me to fend for ourselves. What's going to happen to us now, Lisa? Summer asked one night, her big brown eyes filled with worry. I put on a brave face. Don't worry, I'll figure something out. I didn't have a plan, but failure wasn't an option. I found a job as a clerk at a small office, a modest start, but it was enough to keep us going. My boss, a kind older man, noticed my determination. Lisa, he said one afternoon, have you thought about earning a qualification? Something that could open doors for you? I hadn't, I admitted. Wouldn't that cost a lot? He smiled. I'll cover the expenses, books, exams, all of it. Consider it a favor to me. You've got potential, and I'd hate to see it go to waste. His belief in me was unexpected but welcome. I threw myself into the work, juggling studies and my job. Don't overwork yourself, sis, Summer would say, her voice full of concern. I'm doing this for us, I'd reply, determined to give her a better future. Years passed, and Summer blossomed into a bright, ambitious young woman. I, too, grew, both in confidence and skill. When my boss announced his retirement, he recommended me to a new startup run by someone he trusted. And that's how I met Mike. Welcome aboard, he greeted me on my first day, his professional demeanor underscored by an easy smile. He was 38, with sharp eyes that seemed to see right through you. We've heard great things about you. The job was challenging, but I thrived. Mike's company was small but ambitious, and I found myself at the heart of its rapid growth. You've been an incredible asset, Mike told me after a particularly successful project. I'm lucky to have you here. Hearing those words, I couldn't help but feel a flicker of pride. For the first time in years, I felt secure, not just financially, but emotionally. You seem happier these days, Summer remarked one morning, her tone teasing. Is it the job, or someone at the job? I laughed, shaking my head. Don't be ridiculous. But deep down, I wondered if she was right. 4 years passed, and life had transformed in ways I never imagined. At 27, I was thriving in my role at Mike's flourishing company, while my sister Summer was excelling in high school, aiming for her dream university. Her determination mirrored the qualities I admired most in her. As long as nothing unexpected happened, she was on track to graduate with flying colors. Meanwhile, Mike's company had skyrocketed to success. We landed bigger projects, partnered with prestigious clients, and grew our team rapidly. I found myself training new hires, a responsibility I never thought I'd enjoy so much. One day, as we wrapped up a particularly hectic week, Mike approached me with a surprising suggestion. How about we take a trip sometime? He asked casually. A trip? I blinked, caught off guard. Mike, my schedule. I'll sort everything out. He interrupted with a reassuring smile. You've worked so hard, you deserve a break. Though I hesitated, his insistence wore me down. Spending so much time together had deepened our relationship, and despite our 11-year age difference, I didn't mind. But one thing weighed on my mind: the future. One quiet evening, alone in the office, I decided to address it. "Mike, I love you, and I want to be with you, but I can't marry you yet." He raised an eyebrow but said nothing, waiting for me to continue. "Summer needs me, until she graduates and is fully independent. I can't leave her. Would you be okay waiting a little longer?" My voice wavered, uncertain how he would take my words. His response was immediate and firm. "Lisa, of course I'll wait. You've always put others first, and that's one of the things I love about you. But in the meantime, let's have dinner with your sister. She'll be family soon enough." His understanding brought tears to my eyes. From then on, the three of us began spending more time together. We even planned a trip, a getaway that felt like a dream, a moment of peace, before the whirlwind of life resumed. When Summer moved on to college, our routines shifted, but her presence at home made the transition easier. Then came the bombshell. One evening, Summer sat me down with an announcement. "Lisa, I've decided to get married after college." I nearly dropped my coffee. "Married? Summer, you're only a junior. Who is this guy?" She smiled mischievously. "His name is Brian. We met at a business seminar. He's planning to start his own company, and I like him. We're serious about each other." "Marriage isn't something to rush into," I said, my voice rising. "It's a lifetime commitment." Summer looked at me, her eyes brimming with determination. "You've spent your whole life taking care of me, sis. It's time you thought about your own happiness. I'm not a child anymore. I'm ready." Her words struck a chord. She had grown so much, and she was right. I needed to let her live her own life. Still, her next request stunned me. "I want you to get married first," she said softly. "It feels right that way." And so, a year later, Mike and I tied the knot in a joyous celebration. Friends, family, and colleagues gathered to share in our happiness. Even my first boss attended, his smile full of pride. But as Summer's wedding loomed, a new challenge arose. Brian seemed like a good match: charismatic, ambitious, and kind. When I met his family, I felt reassured at first, but that illusion shattered during a private meeting with his father. "Lisa," he began, his tone cold and detached, "we need to discuss the future, specifically, your role in it." I frowned. "I'm here to support my sister's marriage to Brian." He waved dismissively. "Let's not pretend. You're a liability. No college degree, no family name, barely scraping by for years. While Summer has potential, you clearly don't belong." His words were like knives. "Excuse me?" He leaned back, smirking. "We'll invite you to the wedding, but afterward, it's best if you keep your distance. The people there are far above your station. It would only embarrass everyone if you tried to fit in." The room fell silent as his laughter echoed. Rage and sorrow churned within me, but I refused to let him see me break. "Brian and Summer will have a proper family," he added cruelly. "Let's hope she doesn't follow in your footsteps." I stood, my hands trembling. "You have no idea who I am or what I've overcome. Your narrow view of worth doesn't define me, and it certainly won't define my sister." Without another word, I left. Outside, I wiped away angry tears, vowing that no one would ever make me feel unworthy again. I wouldn't miss my sister's special day, no matter what. I said the words firmly, but my voice trembled as I left the room. Once outside, I half ran home, tears streaming down my face. No matter how much I washed my face, the pain lingered, leaving my eyes red and swollen. Staring at my reflection in the mirror, I whispered a promise to myself: I'll never let them see me like this again. The insults didn't just wound me, they felt like an attack on everyone who had ever supported me: my late parents, my sister, and even Mike. But no matter how much their words hurt, I resolved to attend Summer's wedding. Watching her get married would be a final act of letting go, a symbolic passing of the torch as she started her new life. Time flew by, and soon her college graduation and wedding day arrived. "You'd better come to my wedding, sis," Summer teased. "I planned an amazing day." "I wouldn't miss it for the world," I replied, masking my unease about seeing Brian's family again. The venue was extravagant, filled with guests who exuded wealth and sophistication. Dressed in formal wear, I felt out of place, but held my head high. After checking in with the staff, I was led to a private room. When the door opened, I was greeted by mocking voices. "So, you actually came? You really don't understand social cues, do you?" Standing before me were Brian's father, mother, and younger brother Dustin, dressed in high-end suits and designer attire. "Why are you here?" Dustin sneered. Do you realize how far beneath us you are? Your presence tarnishes this event. You weren't meant to actually show up, his father added coldly. We expected you to know better. Guards should remove her, Dustin said dismissively. Their insults continued, relentless and cruel, until Dustin crossed a line. What if Summer ends up like you? He spat. She won't, I snapped, my voice shaking. Summer is brilliant and hardworking. She and Brian are building something extraordinary together. Ridiculous, Brian's father scoffed. Brian will take over our company, not waste time on a side project. That's not what they said, I countered. They've already incorporated their business. Their faces twisted in disbelief. Before they could respond, the door swung open. Sorry I'm late, came Mike's familiar voice. The room's atmosphere shifted instantly. Mike, it's been too long, Brian's father greeted him eagerly, his tone dripping with false warmth. Mike ignored their pleasantries. Have you seen my wife? Your wife, they echoed, stunned. Oh, there she is, Mike said, his gaze landing on me. Why are you standing in the corner? They told me to leave, I admitted softly. Mike's expression darkened. Why would you tell my wife to leave? She's the bride's sister. The room fell silent, their faces paling. We didn't know, Brian's father stammered. Explain, Mike demanded, his voice icy. I recounted the incident truthfully. As I spoke, Mike's jaw tightened. So, you insulted my wife and tried to humiliate her? His tone was dangerously calm. Disrespecting her is the same as disrespecting me. Is this how you treat family? We didn't mean to insult her, they stuttered, visibly panicked. Then what did you mean? Mike's piercing gaze made them shrink. After a long pause, he continued, I do business with your company, but we're not family. Brian is my friend, but I won't tolerate disrespect toward my wife. Effective immediately, I'm ending our business relationship. Wait, that will ruin us, Brian's father cried. Please reconsider. I won't, Mike said firmly. Don't worry, though, I'll work with Brian and Summer's new company instead. They've earned my trust. The family looked stunned, realizing they had lost both their son's loyalty and a critical business partner. Let's go, Mike said, taking my hand and leading me out. The wedding proceeded without further drama. Summer and Brian began their new life together, moving into their own home and focusing on growing their business. Meanwhile, Brian's family faced the fallout of their actions, their company struggling without Mike's support. As for us, a new chapter was unfolding. One evening, I gently patted my belly, excitement and nervousness swirling inside me. When Mike returned home, I greeted him with his favorite stew and a big smile. I have news, I said, placing his hand on my stomach. His eyes widened in surprise, then lit up with joy. Really? That's amazing. He hugged me gently, his warmth filling the room. With a baby on the way, our family was growing. Life would bring new challenges, but together, we would create a home filled with love, hope, and endless possibilities.